everything happens in steps. If you haven't noticed, I've been hammering on this point because I don't think you guys are getting it. You guys are so extremist. You're thinking like, okay, like what do I do and when does it work? Just start doing something. The reason I'm telling you to start with body is because how I've seen it. So let me walk you through what happened in my personal life. I hit a rock bottom. I was being a total piece of shit. Completely out of alignment with where I want to be, where I want to go, who I am, and who I'm supposed to be, right? But I didn't just make a commitment and all of a sudden the spiritual aspect just like opened up. I had some moments of clarity and some like realizations that happened for sure. But what really happened was I just started with the goals piece. I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to feel like this way anymore. So how do I fix that shit? And dude, it took me fucking 2 years just to fix the fucking bullshit and strip away most of it. How did I strip away most of it? I got rid of drinking first. I got rid of smoking weed next. That took way longer. I haven't had a drink in 6.5 years, something like that. And then I started getting the body piece together. I was like, okay, cool. I'm getting it now. I got to go back to exercise and running and stuff, the things that used to make me feel good. So I started slowly. I would miss some days. I didn't just stay consistent. But I knew that I had dedicated to, I was like, okay, cool. Fitness, I'm going to bring that back into my life. So I started with that piece. And honestly, I just did that for 2 years. I was like, okay, no drinking, no bullshit. You know, no like being an asshole. No chasing every chick I see. I started there. Then I started journaling slowly. And when I started journaling, I used to just write down a word of the day and like a to-do list. That's it. I have 4 sections now. I fill them all out every day. I have goals. I do a year's goals list. I have a long-term goals list. I didn't start that until fucking 2 years ago. So think about the length of this journey. I've already been sober for 6 years, right? That was when I made a commitment to turn my life around 6 years ago. The first 2 years were the beginner phase. It's like, okay, just don't get all fucked up. Don't go back to the bullshit. Change your self-talk a little bit. Start taking accountability. That was a big one. I started finally working on accountability. Instead of being ego-driven and being like, oh, fuck that, that's not me. I just started being like, oh, cool. What part of this is me? Let me figure out what part of this fucking bullshit is my own mistakes. Let me take responsibility. After about 2 years, I started realizing that one of the things I struggled with was overthinking, racing fucking thoughts, and judgment, right? These are like massive things for me. So I started a meditation journey. I got the Calm app. It's very simple. And honestly, I spent that year diving into that piece pretty hard. I wasn't praying. I wasn't speaking to God. I wasn't doing any of that. I was legitimately just working on the body piece. And then I was like, okay, cool. Let me look at like the mind piece. Like what's going on with my thoughts? How do I control my way of thinking a little bit more? How do I become okay with mindfulness? Like popping out of my life and going, what's really going on here? Like analyzing from a positive place, non-judgmental. The year that I started meditation, dude, I missed like 15 days total. I did like 350 days. I just like, it became a part of my process. Just like, okay, cool, let me do this in the mornings. I'm going to do this. I put headphones in and be in silence and just be in stillness for a while, right? It took, at the 4-year mark was when my spirit actually started to open back up. I started realizing, oh, it isn't all about me. This personal development shit isn't about getting somewhere. This isn't about me becoming some cool dude that people look at and go like, oh, wow, he's awesome. It's about me connecting to self, because the way I connect to self is the ability for me to connect and understand others. Then that's when the light of God started to appear to me. I started to go, oh, I remember now that that's the whole thing about faith. Something bigger than me that makes me get outside of myself, that makes me be less results driven and more about becoming a person that's worthy of praise, and then praising and being worthy by being full of gratitude. And then what happened was, in my morning process that used to just be meditation where I was thinking about my mind, I started to open up my soul. That's what happened. All of a sudden, I started to understand what my conscience was. I started to go, oh, These negative emotions and negative internal states, those are notifications to go in a different direction. And I'll tell you guys, I've been saying this for a long time, for you guys who've been watching for a minute. It's always the hard thing that you don't want to do that you're avoiding. So I'm always talking about avoidance or accountability. You have these two paths, these two ends of the spectrum. Accountability would be vulnerability, repentance, forgiveness, and then moving into a concerted action plan to fix the behavior, to change behavior, to get a better desired result for you and for everybody around you. But what I'm trying to say to you guys is, don't think that you're at level 15 when you're at level 2. Be patient. This is what it looked like for me. That last piece, the spiritual connection, being overwhelmed with gratitude and being grateful, it took those 4 years of doing exercise, trying to control the things I put into my body. No vices, no drugs. Then moving into like positive food and eating it at the right times. Then it was the mental piece of meditation so I could slow my mind down enough to where I could even hear anything. Then the spiritual piece illuminated itself to me. So just understand the body and the mind piece. They are the gateway habits that will lead you into your spiritual connection. A lot of you guys are thinking everything's a mental health disorder when a lot of it's a spiritual incongruency. No listening to your conscience. No moving into positive action. It's philosophical and spiritual, and you guys are mistaking that as some sort of mental. Your mind is inside of your body, guys. Your soul's inside of your body. Your body operates in a way that is based on the things that you put into it. Diet, movement, relaxation, sleep shapes your mind. That shapes your mental health. Once you get those things in check, controlling the mental health aspect becomes much easier. Once you get your positive self-talk, racing thoughts, and your mind out of the way by these long periods of sitting in silence, reflection, ingesting positive materials from top people, personal development, philosophy, religion, all of a sudden, the spirit piece makes sense. You come back to who you are. You start to understand your soul. You can hear your conscience. Your conscience tells you where to go. Then you start listening to it more and more and more and more. Then what happens is these decisions that used to plague you with this overwhelming anxiety become easy because you know the answer. It's still hard to do because it's the thing you want to avoid. But at least you know what to do. It's no longer just fear, uncertainty, doubt. It's, oh man, I know exactly where I need to walk. This might be hard. But I think that the universe and God, whatever you'd like to call it, I think those got my back. These are talking to me. These are speaking to me. God speaks to you through words. That's why people love the Bible. That is God's written word. That's what that is. You have to be able to listen with your mind and connect the things that are being said to you to your soul and your spirit, or else you're never going to know where to walk. But I just wanted to say that to you guys. It's a mind and body piece first, especially if you're totally closed off to the spirit part. If you hear me say the word God and you have a recoil, you need to do a lot of body and mental work to open up those channels, because you have gotten so far away from your conscience that you can't hear that shit anymore. It's going to take you a little while of walking back into the right direction to where that will open up to you. But I'm telling you, it's there, and it will start to work. Hit me up if you need anything. I appreciate y'all. I got big things going on with the restaurant and all that stuff. I'm trying to get another location, and hit me up. I appreciate y'all.